All right. We are all drummed in, so now let's sing in. If you want to stand up, stand up. We'll do our opening song. Welcome to the Louisville Center for Spiritual Living. I'm glad to see all of you this morning. I'm loving the weather. I hope you are too. The coolness in the air when you go out in the first thing in the morning, that feels really good. And so I really appreciate that you're sharing today with us this morning. And so we open with prayer. We light the candle real quick. As I look at the flame, and it's one of those that grows. It starts out really small, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think of our spiritual journeys, and I think of spirit in our lives, and it grows. We plant seeds, and then we reap the benefits. And so this morning, we've come together to plant some seeds. Seeds of hope and encouragement, of connection and love. Seeds that teach us something that we can use in our lives. And just to be with other people who believe as we do. And so we are very grateful for being called into this moment at this time with these expressions of spirit. And we know that we are blessed and that we bless others. And so with deep gratitude for this opportunity and this time together, we seal it with the words, and so it is. Okay. Gordon?
Announcements and upcoming events. Okay, Ralph, let me explain it to you again. You're big, I'm little, but you're a dog.
I'm Cat. That makes me the boss. Got it? You better duck when you say that, little fella. Okay. Workshop with Reverend Carolyn today after the service, noon to 1. Love offering and admission. Hey, Carolyn, you want to say something about that?
We're going to be talking about something during the talk, and the workshop is designed to follow along with that and develop that on a personal level, on a personal basis. And so we'll spend an hour talking about the things that we heard in the talk this morning, and also expanding on some other ideas and how to use them in our lives. And so I hope that many of you will have the opportunity to stay, because we'll finish right at 1, and, so you'll be on your way.
Thank you. Next men's group meeting. This is just a reminder. It's getting closer and closer. Kingfish is where our next meeting is going to be. A little dinner first. Maybe that's all we do is have dinner, and that's the first Thursday of each month. So as we get closer and closer, we'll mention more of it. Okay, let's see. Practitioner of the day, Pat Ferguson. Pat, would you like to say anything?
Except you're not. Is there a secret handshake?
I thought I was going to be practitioner today. That's
Okay,
evidently
so we're good? We're good and we're moving on. Okay, next week, October 27th, guest speaker, Emeritus, our own Vicki Jeter. Vicki, do you want to say anything about that yet? Or make sure it's a total surprise? Or?
Actually, the picture is a total surprise. I don't know where that picture came from, but I'm very grateful for that picture.
It's
and,
lovely.
It's the magic of cropping. It's the magic of Miss Pat. That's what it's the magic of. Thank you so much, Pat. Okay, so next week is going to be about the life-transforming principles revealed through the Winnie the Pooh characters and the life of Christopher Robin after he became an adult. Really speaks to our theme of cherishing family. And the one thing I want to say about that now, if any of you have Pooh characters, any of the characters that come out of the 100-Acre Wood, bring them for the altar next week. It's going to be so much fun. And so thank you.
Okay, thank you. Community visioning for LCSL, first Saturday of every month. Okay, November 2nd, 10 to 10:45. Vicki, you want to say anything more about that at this point?
Well, I'd be like a broken record if I did. Certainly, I would still love for everyone to come to this experience. If anyone in the room that has taken the visioning course would like to say something about the potential to do that with our center, that'd be awesome. Any comments from anyone?
Yes. Like I said, I was resistant at first to even sign up using Zoom, and it has really been enjoyable. It's so convenient to be in your home, but I thought, I'm not going to have the connection with all the students taking the class, and I said it's like Hollywood Squares because everybody's face is up on the grid of the screen. I really enjoyed it.
So that's for, this is for the visioning process for the center.
Oh, the center, no, I don't know.
Well, then I have more work to do. So the process that she's so excited about taking the class for, we do this on the first Saturday of every month. And at some point, I'll get more of you on board to come, because once you start it, you will not want to stop. That's all I can say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another social Sunday is upon us, coming soon, November 3rd. Well, we have a really nice selection of food, but I've got to say, I haven't seen this yet. I haven't seen it. Yeah. Just a little truth in London.
Well, it's kind of like our 10th anniversary party.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is me.
Who's me? Oh, okay.
Okay, Vernon, go ahead.
Ah, this is the one.
We wanted to say goodbye. Goodbyes are never forever goodbyes. Goodbyes are not the end. They simply mean we'll miss you until we meet again. That's right. And we have some cards for you to read and to know how much we appreciate having you.
Well, I appreciate you. Make a difference in my life, you know.
And thank you for being part of us for so many
And I
years.
still will.
Yes.
And such a fantastic demonstration. I mean, look at this beautiful woman. Your hair looks lovely today.
I did it yesterday. I went extra short since I'm not gonna see you for a while. Okay. Not much there.
Really cute.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminded me. I need to put your thing on.
Yeah, and I can't stay today, sorry, because I gotta go home and finish the last bit of packing in the garage.
Okay, our October affirmation, all together. My spirit dances like falling leaves on a windy day, as I discover the beauty of letting go. Tell your story. I have a short story. It just came to me after I said I had nothing to share. This is the puppies. You know, so most of you are aware that we're raising these two little Shih Tzu puppies up. And so we're right in the midst, they're about 9 months, and we're struggling now, of all times, with their potty training, where they're just supposed to go outdoors, okay? And I'm trying not to be a potty mouth myself here, as they say. But it's been a trial, and so Mario comes, they're getting ready for bed, you know, so they have one for their little kennel. So they have one more round to go outside. And Margot likes to go out and watch them. But she seems to be able to communicate with them pretty well. You know, like if I go out, they just kind of disappear and they come back and I say, well, you all done? Oh, yeah, we're all done. No. never all done. Anyway, so with about 30 minutes later, I find myself holding one of the dogs, and Margot has identified that, and she was right on the money with this, is that they were about a week late on getting the haircut and their grooming and stuff. And so back here, they started to grow over with their fur. My God, I've never seen such a thing. And she says, well, you've obviously not had much to do with babies. I mean, it's not like your fur grows over. But so I don't know. I told her I thought she handled it in a really awesome way. I was kind of like, oh God, we do what? We're going to do what? Yeah. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Somebody have something else?
I just wanted to say that the power of science of mind is really, if you embrace it and you have good intentions, you can manifest things. And my journey's been really special for me, obviously, but I knew that I was going to have a job change, and I knew eventually that would happen, but I set my intentions about 1.5 years ago and visualized, you know, in a subconscious way, in the back of my mind, always playing where I wanted to be in general terms, not too specific. And it's all manifested, it's all come together, and it's just a reinforcement of spirit in your life, and that if you are open and you have your intention and you stay focused on it, you don't will it into being, you just allow it into being, and you go with spirit, and you know it's going to be okay. It hasn't been a smooth ride. I mean, I've had all the health issues in the middle, but I've overcome them. And Carolyn asked me, how do you do it? You know, how do you just do. I mean, this is what I've been given, and I embrace and love it regardless of what it looks like. The challenges, the gifts, and having a community to share the journey with, and the support that you guys provided me through my recovery periods of my health, and even supporting me leaving you, you know, because change is good, and it's a necessary thing. So I just encourage everybody that even though you might think, wow, this is not happening for me, or I'm not manifesting it, or what am I doing wrong? You really aren't. You just have to have a true intent in knowing, and that calmness with it. Although I've had my stressful up and downs, still do. I breathe through it, and then I know that Spirit is with me and that I'm in the right direction, and everything's aligned in such a way that it can't be anything but divine intervention path for me. So, and I appreciate being around like-minded people, and just know that it does work. You just have to believe, and it comes to you in its own way. So thank you guys for sharing with me.
Thanks, Teresa.
Yay, yes,
Very nice.
thank you.
Last call. Okay, who's doing the reading next?
So this morning, we have a reading that's slightly meditative in nature, and it has to do with autumn. And the fall equinox, we're a month into fall, even though it doesn't really feel like that, because the 1st of February was 90, or October, it was 90 degrees. But with the fall equinox on September 23rd, we entered the season of balance. Autumn is the season of honoring and harvesting the abundance that has been growing over the summer, and a time of pruning and releasing that which needs to fall away for new growth to blossom and new crops to be planted. In the spirit of the cycles of nature, we can align energetically with the season and honor the bounty of our personal summer and assess what we are ready to let go of. As we welcome autumn, we consider the areas of our life that no longer serve us. Those things we need to let go of, that need to wither for new growth to flourish. This is an opportunity for taking inventory of our life and to see what we have accumulated too much of, physically, mentally, and emotionally, and allow those things to be released with the gratitude for the lessons they have provided. So let's spend some time reflecting on that. How do we do that? We can quiet our body by taking a few deep, cleansing breaths. We can feel our deep, solid, supportive connection with the earth. As we inhale deeply, we create space for the new. As we exhale fully, we release any tension, judgment, or limiting beliefs. We can spend some time reflecting on the notable moments of the year so far, what intentions we manifested, what blessings came our way, what dream seeds have we collected. We can celebrate our personal harvest with gratitude. We can listen with our heart, ask ourselves, what intentions do we want to carry into the next season? What things, thoughts, beliefs, stories are we ready to release that no longer serve our highest good and the highest good of the planet? We can allow space for whatever arises. We might imagine those things as falling autumn leaves, allowing space on the tree of our new, or on the tree of our life for new growth. This is a poem by the Reverend Kathy Robinson. Allow it to soothe and encourage you. God of autumn, help me to live with the grace of falling leaves, the enthusiasm of the flaming aspens, with the serenity of the old trees whose roots reach deep into the earth. God of autumn, help me to know that living and dying are one, that life is precious and beautiful and limited, that nothing good is ever lost. God of autumn, help me to see in the ways of nature a way for myself. And so it is.
the reading and the music were both so meditative, and they're beautiful. You want to take a few minutes just to be quiet and just to be still. I often think of meditation and the feeling that it brings to us as being the undercurrent of life. So when you get into that flow of being in that meditative state, it will stay with you. It's not something you have to think about. It's just like an undertow, an under support, a rhythm, a wave, that just supports and takes care of you. So thank you, Lo. Thank you, Pat, for sharing that with us. All right. Let's see. The theme for the month is cherishing family. Today we're going to take a step away from that particular theme, and we're going to look at surviving or thriving. And one of the reasons that we're doing that is that people asked me to bring back what I could from a Silmar. There's a lot you just can't bring back. I can't give you the feeling of 600 people singing in one room. If you have to be there for that. And there's just nothing quite like it. And Tammy's going, oh, yeah. And some of the speakers, like Karen Drucker is wonderful. Well, hers is all wrapped up in music. And I don't have that talent. And so I did look at the things that I could bring back, and I thought this was a good workshop. And so I decided I would share it with you. And it talks about, are you just surviving? Now, this guy's surviving. If you look, there's some green up there, So it is surviving. It's not thriving. We're using this image in, someone pointed out that it matches the flowers on the table, which I thought was kind of cool. The flowers on the table are from Vicky's birthday, a gift to her from Pat. And then we also have these flowers here, and you need to ask Gordon what this is. Because it was surprising to me. It was fun to know. So going from just surviving to thriving is the theme. And we're going to be talking about that, and we're going to be talking about it in the workshop itself. Betsy Hayes is a motivational speaker and a coach. She has a company where she supplies speakers to 2 companies, lunch and learns, workshops, that kind of thing. And she does it through having a network of other presenters. And so she's built quite a company and quite a presence in that world of lunch and learns and particular classes and motivational stuff and all of that, with people taking her material and using it with a lot of other companies. And so that's what her calling is in life and what she does the most. And then she came to a Silmar to share with us. And her first question is, what is the difference between an obstacle and an opportunity? And her answer to that is our attitude towards it. Every opportunity has a difficulty, and every difficulty an opportunity. Way we see it, when something happens, is it an obstacle or an opportunity? Is it something that's going to hold us down, make us do something we don't want to do, or is it something that opens a new door? I worked a long, long time ago with people who were laid off. And I was, the person who worked with them on getting their resumes done and getting out there and all that. And I've heard a lot of really sad stories, but I also heard some really great triumphs. This one guy was 64 years old, and his company laid him off. And he was the only one they laid off. Now, if he had stayed until 65, he would have had his retirement for the rest of his life. And they laid him off at 64. It's the kind of thing you want to go and beat somebody up, right? And they wanted him to train his successor. Yeah, so it was really, really hard. And so he saw it all as an obstacle. It was an obstacle, and he grieved, and he was angry, and he was, all of those things. And I could fully understand that, because I would have been tempted to do all of that too. and have done all that, something less traumatic than that. But he spent a lot of time just being angry, and so we would talk about that. And we would talk about, okay, at some point you have to accept it and move on if you're going to be able to get to something even better. And so we worked together, and he kept thinking, I can't get a job. They don't hire people that are 64 years old. And that, maybe not as severe now as it was 20 years ago, but it is still an obstacle. You know, companies look at somebody that's 64 and they think they're going to have more medical issues. They're going to put a larger tax on our insurance, our health insurance. They're going to not be as productive because they're older. They're going to want to retire in just another 3 or 4 years. Well, just about the time we get them trained, they're going to want to move on and that kind of. And so they hesitate to hire someone at that age. And so he and I worked on that, and how could we see it in a different way? How could we find an opportunity in what looked like an obstacle? He finally came to the point where he could let go of his anger. It wasn't easy, and he flared up with it every once in a while, but he let go of the most of it. He wasn't spending every waking moment being angry. You know, he'd finally understood that this was something he had to deal with. And anger was not getting him where he needed to be or accomplishing what he needed to accomplish. And so then he began to talk about what he would like to do. You know, one of my jobs was to say, well, what would you like to do in the next 5 years? What is it that would make your heart sing? What have you wanted to do all these years but haven't been able to do? Well, I haven't thought about anything. I've just been working. Yeah, well, yeah, now you don't have to work, so not in the same way. So how would you see that as different? And so he began to look at new opportunities, at new ways of doing it. He did get a settlement. It was a fair amount of money. It wasn't near what the retirement was worth, but it did give him a block to work with. And so he looked at that, and he said, you know, I've always wanted to own a small business. And I can't remember what it was he sold, but I think it was woodworking, if I remember correctly. He was worked with his hands, and he wanted to open a shop and sell tools and other things that you need to do woodworking. And he didn't want it to be a huge shop. He just wanted it to be a little specialty thing. And so he began to look at that. What would it cost him to do that? How much money would he have to make to be able to survive on that? Did he think it was possible? He began to talk to other people, began to be excited about the possibility. As he worked through it, and it took him, it was over a year, he opened his own company. He opened his own business. And he was happy with that. He still felt that it was a really bad move on his company's part to do that to him, but he went past that and he began to build again. So when we look at the things in our lives, are we seeing an obstacle or an opportunity? And Betsy is saying that whether we see it as an obstacle or an opportunity, we can turn it around. We can add new ideas to it. We can think of it in new ways. And so there's going to be a difficulty in accomplishing great things. You know, I'm going to use Teresa, and she hadn't given me permission, but she, you know, she's moving to Florida from a home that is, I don't remember how many square feet, but a lot, 3,000 into 1,700. So trust me, there's a lot to be decided about that. You know, what do I keep? What do I let go? How do I get it packed? And how do I, you know, all of that stuff. And so there is a difficulty to it. But that's also an opportunity to look at things and say, what's important to me? What do I treasure? What do I really enjoy so much? And to then go through that process of choosing. And I think Teresa would say it's been a good process. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, when we had the fire, for a long, long time, I could tell you everything that was in every drawer in my house. Everything. I can't do that anymore. I can tell you that there are tablecloths, but I can't tell you which ones, you know, because I've attracted too many of them. And so I have things that I can tell you about, but there's a whole lot of nooks and crannies that are now filled with stuff that I have no idea what it is. And so it was a great cleansing.
It feels good to give something that you cherish to someone else because they can enjoy it.
Yes, yes.
I get value out of that. So letting go is easy.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a great thing to be able to give it to someone who, you know, will cherish it. That's the idea behind Tilly, you know.
That cleansing process starts out as gut wrenching and ends up as liberating.
Yes, you've been through it too. Yeah, just recently with that, the moving and the packing and stuff. I told Tracy I want to pack up.
It took a while since I went through it, but I filled up 2 commercial dumpsters. 3 generations that had just kept accumulating and accumulating and accumulating. And it got to be, oh, let's get it filled to the very top. And we did twice. Get it filled to the very top. And
Wow.
it is liberating.
It really is a weight on your consciousness that maybe you're aware of or not aware of. But all this stuff kind of weighs you down. And when you can get rid of some of it, it kind of gives you a freedom, a looseness that feels so good. And if you do take the time to give it to people who will treasure it, or to the Goodwill or whatever, you know, then you know that it will go on blessing someone else. Someone else will use it. They will take use of it, and it's a really important thing. So you've taken an obstacle and you've turned it into an opportunity. And that so often is what we have the opportunity to do. How do you look at what's happening in your life? She quoted this guy, Nicola Machiavelli. Entrepreneurs are simply those who understand that there is little difference between obstacle and opportunity and are able to turn both to their advantage. And so to live a life where you don't want any obstacles is not really realistic. And so to know that you will have obstacles and you will have things that are opportunities beyond what you could have thought of. And to know that when you work them to your advantage, which you can do, then you're going to be on the winning end. You're going to be on the receiving end of wonderful stuff. So that's part of what she's talking about. The other thing, I mean, there's several things. Actually, I'm saving some of what her work was for another talk, because I can't get it all in one day. You know, I just can't do it. How many of you know Greg Braden? Greg Braden is, he's written many books, and he's very thought-provoking, and he just really puts some stuff out there that you've not seen before. And so I was doing extra research on survive versus thrive and that kind of thing, and his name came up. He has a title of a talk, Survive or Thrive. You know, I thought, okay, that fits. He's somebody that is the first one who I ever heard say that humanity goes in cycles, the earth goes in cycles, and it changes every 5,000 years, and it moves on, and it starts over. And you're not going to change that. It's going to happen. And so there have been many civilizations. We think we're the only ones in the last 3,000 years or whatever, 4,000 I guess now. But really, there have been others behind. And he talks about they discovered a city that was sunk and some of the things that had been covered by ice that are now not covered by ice. And that when the research that they did, it was the other 5,000 years. It was 10,000 years ago, or more than that. And they were, the women were in power. In all areas of government and all of that, they were the ones that everybody was trying to get equal opportunity with. And so I just think it's just fascinating. And he talks about the surviving versus thriving, and he's got some things in there that I think are really good. So I think I'm going to do a Sunday on him too. All right. So what is the difference between an obstacle and an opportunity? Betsy tells us that it's our attitude. However we see it, whether we see it as an opportunity or as a difficulty, that will determine how we respond to it. If we see it as an obstacle, we're going to fight it. We're going to, figure out a way to conquer it and get past it and move on and all those things. But if we see it as an opportunity, then we do what we can to support that opportunity. if we can know that within everything there is both the opportunity and the obstacle, within everything, then we can have a much better chance of turning it to our support of the life that we want to live. Because that's the whole idea, is to live more of the lives that we want. More of the lives that open us up to thrive, that open us up to give, to be radiant in all that we are and all that we do. And sometimes it's very difficult to see the opportunity in an obstacle or an opportunity in a circumstance, because at the moment it just hurts. It's something that's going on that's just really hurting us. All right. Do a retake. When you recognize that there's been a mistake, that you've made a mistake, something that you consider a mistake, then do a retake. And other speakers have talked about do a reframing. We have things in our backgrounds, in our memories, that we have put into a very small box, and we keep them there. And some of them are supportive, they're good memories, and some of them are very negative, and they're not supportive. A lot of things with child abuse and all that kind of stuff stay that block, that solid block, and they influence us as we go in through life. And is it easy to turn that kind of thing into an opportunity? Not always. But is it? Yes. It is an opportunity to be something different. You know, there was a series of books a number of years ago called It, and it was about the worst child abuse I'd ever read about, because it was psychological. It was really awful. And he took that and he turned it around. And he helped thousands and thousands of people to understand that they did not have to be blocked by what happened in their childhood, and that they could move past that into something else. So that obstacle, that limitation, he turned it into a gift. He turned it into a gift for himself and for everyone else who read his stuff, to know that there is a way to be, to take something and turn it into a gift or something else. So whatever you have in your life that is standing in your way, or you feel is standing in your way, then you have the opportunity to turn it around. And Vernon, once you gave me permission to talk about you anytime I wanted to, right? Talk about your obstacle course that you ran. If you were here that Sunday when we talked about it and we showed the pictures, Vernon ran an obstacle course, and it was a whole lot of miles, and it was a whole lot of obstacles, and it had a whole lot of mud. I remember that really well. Now, many people would look at those obstacles as that, limitations in their lives, something to conquer. And he looked at it as something to enjoy and to have an opportunity to push his body, push his mind, to be a little stretched, to be a little enriched by the opportunity. And so he chose that. And I think that oftentimes that the things that are most challenging to us, if we can turn them around and look at them as something that can give us the greatest opportunity for growth, the greatest opportunity for change, then we can change them truly into being opportunities, not obstacles. So it's all about not fighting what's going on. It's about looking for the nugget of truth, the presence of love, whatever that might be, or the opportunity to grow. Because we're all about growth. That's what we're here for. Anybody want to argue that point? Somebody might say, no, that's not what we're here. Okay, I don't know if you can read that or not, but simply stated, it is all about embracing the opportunities to move us from survival, which is 99% hard to do, to thriving, which is 100% a breeze. You know, when we see ourselves is the expression of spirit. And we know that as we turn our intentions over to spirit, just like, Teresa was sharing with us, then we move through life knowing that there's this undercurrent of truth and power and action that is moving us toward our intention, whether we can see it or not, whether it feels like it or not. It is moving us in the right direction. And so we want to go from the 99% struggle to the 100% breeze. Because when we do that, we create more joy, more peace, more happiness for us in each of our lives. And so that's the idea of going from thriving to surviving. So where do you know you're thriving and where do you know you're surviving? Thriving, it's easy. It feels good. Surviving is a struggle. It feels like you always have to put more into it. It's all up to you, and you have to figure out how to make it work. So when you can move back into the thriving, then you know that it's not all you. You need to set intentions, but the details will unfold. They will unfold perfectly if you will allow them to do so. So our rose, recommending our thriving. Take a moment and think about something that feels like an obstacle to you. I am in the process of trying to figure out my health. What do I need? What do I need to let go? Why do I keep having these things in my life? And how can I move that into an opportunity? That's what I ask myself often. How can I feel good about one more doctor's appointment or one more pill or one more this or that? How can I move into that place of truly thriving? And where does this fit in that thriving? So as you think about that, we're going to do a meditation, okay? And I'm going to give you the opportunity to think about a certain area where you seem to be just surviving, struggling, uncomfortable. Any of the words that describes a situation that you are ready to transmute into an opportunity. And so as we breathe and as we settle, we let the breath comfort us and support us. So in this area that we might see as an obstacle, can we look back at it? Can we step aside, step away, and look at it from a distance? How has our interpretation changed with a little distance in our view? Where can we step back and trust, knowing that we are supported in our greatest and best? knowing this area in our lives is opportunity. We breathe into it. We don't need how-tos. We simply accept the support that is ours. And so we breathe. We let it be. And together, and so it is.
It's that time. If you'd like to donate online, you can go to lcslonline.org and donate and help us with what we use our money for, with many, many things. And we do appreciate all of you here and all of you online. Join me in saying our prosperity affirmation. God's wealth circulates in my life. It flows to me in avalanches of abundance. All my needs, desires, and goals are met instantaneously, for I am one with God, and He is everything.
I love that, Lo. Okay. Okay, so we welcome the gifts that we have received, the tithes and the offerings, and we bless them. We bless them to our achieving, not the right word. We bless them to, we bless them to our own lives as we achieve these principles, fully filling all of our thoughts and all of our actions. And we bless this for the higher community, for those that are with us, those that don't know about us, and we bless them as well, for we are grateful, and we let it be, and so it is. Okay. And we have our prayer box with our prayer request in it. So, join me in taking a deep breath. And in that deep breath, know that the foundation of all is Spirit. That there is only one power, one presence, one health, one joy, one success, one peace. And all of these and so much more we call by many names, including God and Spirit and I Am, and the great divine, and the divine mind, and Ali and Allah. All of these and so many more names for Spirit. And what we know is that as we turn to Spirit and we call on Spirit, and we say to it, serve us, do this, do that, set my intentions, now, go forth. Spirit says, okay, be glad to. And so right now, in this moment, we set our intentions to bless the people that own this building, to bless them for serving us and welcoming us each week. We take a deep breath and we bless each of us in this room and those watching and listening, that they may be blessed with the fullness of Spirit in all areas of their lives, whether it be in abundance or health or relationships or joy or just the right attitude. And we know that it is done, for Spirit always says yes. And so with glad hearts, we let it be, and so it is. And it's our last going forth song, and if you would like to, stand up. Uh-oh. Let's circle up. Circling up. Okay, we have half a circle. We're working on it. Yeah, we're working on it. Okay. All right, Teresa, step to the center.
So
You can't refuse prayer. In this moment, we bring our hearts and minds and souls to the presence that we call Teresa, and we bless her. We bless her with joy, with strength, and with deep knowing that she is loved as she goes forth into Florida. And so, Teresa, you are blessed. Tammy, step in the middle. Hold on to Teresa. We take this moment to bless Tammy, who has recently said goodbye to a very dear, dear friend. And that is a process, that letting go. There's a grieving to it. And so right now we just stand and we surround her with love, knowing that she is comforted and knowing that Spirit is right there with her all the time, supplying all that she needs. And sadness is okay. And brightness and joy comes. And so we bless each other, whether in the circle or not. We bless each other with all that we are desiring in our lives. We receive the blessings to ourselves. We take a deep breath and bring them in. And we go forth rejoicing. And so it is.
Thank you all.
Thank you. This makes you feel good.
Great journey.
It's next Sunday.
That was awesome. Thank you. We might get that in our pocket. Oh, you gotta go? Yes, yes.
Go forth and pack.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, good.
And if you want to change the time, I'm willing to sit. Everybody else? And I can be
Bye. Susan Dumeyer.